Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to our DFY Live Masterclass for tonight. And we're going to be talking about sales funnels. And what I'm going to be doing is doing this recording. And of course, once I complete this, then it's going to take me typically about 48 to 72 hours, and then I will upload it to the area. If you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to write them in the box, and I will do the best that I can to answer them. In some cases, I may answer these questions while we're in the session if they're relevant. Otherwise, I'll probably wait till the end to answer any questions that you might have. And I think I'm pretty sure I see my slides here. So I think that we are good to go. And let's go ahead and get started without further ado. Let's talk about marketing your business using sales funnels. And tonight, what we're going to talk about is, well, why do you use sales funnels? And this is not necessarily something that is well known. So we're going to go into that. We are going to talk about how you want to think about sales funnels, regardless of what it is that you're trying to do. We do want to talk about this from the perspective of information marketing, of course. And if we do that, if we talk about sales funnels from the perspective of information marketers, we want to be able to discuss affiliates because that's an important part of this whole process. We're going to talk about vertical funnels, which you may not have heard that terminology, but you will understand functionally what that is. We will talk about developmental, or what are called diagonal funnels. And again, this is not a common term, just what we're calling it here in this session. Horizontal funnels, once again, it's a conceptual idea. This is not something that you're going to go out and you're going to find. If you were to go to Google and you tried to define this, it's not going to be in the public domain. We're going to talk about training and workshop funnels, or educational marketing. And if there's time, we'll talk about pitch or high ticket funnels. So why do we do sales funnels? Why even bother? Why not just sell your product, let the product stand on its own, and then whoever buys it, you sell it at full price, and that's the end of the matter. And you want to think about this a little differently. And anybody that's going to be interested in growing their business, you're going to be able to do that in three ways. And this is whether you have an online business or you have some other kind of business. Maybe it is a brick and mortar business. First, you can increase the number of people that are come to buy something from you, whether that's a website or a local place. You get more people. And this is typically what people focus on. How can I get more customers to come to my location? How can I get more customers to come to my website? How can I get more customers to see my offer? We can also just kind of, if we define this, you've probably heard of this when you think about information marketing. This is just called traffic. How do I get more traffic to see the things that I am selling? You can also think about this is by thinking about two other ways that you can focus your attention on in terms of growing your business. And we're going to start thinking about this by looking at the average amount of each transaction. And so that's also an important way to think about this. In other words, if I can get more people to come to my sales page, that's great. But what if I can't get more people right at the moment? What if all I can do is to get the people that are already interested, and maybe they're not going to be great in number? One thing I can do, of course, is I can make sure that every person that comes to that site, every person that comes to that page, everybody that goes and makes the decision to buy, if I can influence them to spend more at every transaction, I can grow my business. And so basically, you want to think about this. See, I'm going to step back here, and it looks like that one was for whatever reason. I'm not sure why that happened. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to take a step back here. Sorry about that. Let's go back to this slide here, and I'm just going to mark that section. And a business owner can, of course, basically grow their business by increasing the amount that's sold at every transaction. And that means then that whenever your prospect, they've already got their wallet out. So this is when you want to make sure that you pitch them, and you want to make sure that they hear something that's going to be enticing to them. And this is a way that you're going to grow your business. Basically, with every sale, you want to make sure that everything your customer needs that's going to be a direct relation to what it is that they purchase, that they get the opportunity to buy from you. So, if you're as a business owner, if you get more traffic and you get the customer to spend more, you're going to be growing your business effectively. And that's what we want to do. We don't want to just get more customers and for them to buy from us one time. We don't want to just get more customers and for them to spend on just one product. If we can, we want them to purchase multiple products from us. And we don't necessarily want to send them off to their home devices, so to speak. If they're willing to spend it now, we want to make sure they spend the amount now. There's a third way. And the other way is just to increase your conversions. So basically, you're just going to do a better job of selling them on what it is that you have. And this is typically, people do that by writing copy, where they're getting good copy, but you're basically trying to increase your conversion rate. So in other words, again, let's review these things. We can get more people, we can get them to spend more, and we can make sure that more of them buy as a result of seeing or hearing our sales presentation. And when I use the word sales presentation, I mean they can be reading a sales letter, they can be watching a webinar. I'm not talking about a formal presentation. I'm just saying that whatever our sales message is, they see it and they decide they're going to buy more as a result. Now, you want to, as a business owner, online or offline, you want to try to implement all three of these. Anytime that you are not where you are in your business, you want to try to get more customers. You want to also make sure that those customers spend more at every time they buy. You want to also then, if they're going to spend more, you want to make sure that you're converting more of them. So instead, if you've got 50 people coming to your sales page and 25 of them buy, if you can increase that 25 to 30, that's going to mean that you're going to be growing your business at a turn. Now, there's a lot of credible information on how to get people to your location. And some people use SEO. Some people are now very enamored with social media. You can do all of those things or none of those things. You've just got to make sure you understand and focus on one method. And this is typically going to be what traditional advertising promotion is designed to do. Maybe you've got a team of people, or maybe you've got a focus. Whatever you're doing, this is how you're going to focus your efforts so that you get all of these three things in order to help you grow your business. So basically, if you were to ask of your business, how can you get your conversion rate to increase, and how can you increase the average dollar amount spent? What can you do? Whether you're an online or offline business owner, basically, the conversion rate is always going to improve by executing better sales methods at the point of contact. So, in other words, if that person has already made a purchase, what can you do in order to influence them to make more of a purchase? That's really increasing your conversion rate if you've already got a customer and you can get them to buy more at the point of sale. This is what it means for an online business. Maybe you're going to make sure that your web copy is going to be effective. So whether you're using upsells or downsells, which you're not talked about yet, but you're going to make sure that your copy is going to be effective. You're going to make sure that if you can, you're going to pre-sell those people. So you're not just going to send them to your sales page, you're going to pre-sell them. You're going to be doing things like podcasting. You're going to be doing things like blogging. You're going to be doing things like making sure that those people see emails where you are basically telling them something is coming that's going to benefit them. You're going to make sure that anything that's on your site is going to help them to visualize what it is, what it's going to mean for them to own your product. Visualization is very important. And I don't mean necessarily visualizing to manifest things. I'm talking about making sure that when a customer comes to your site, if you're going to give them a sales message, whether you do it in words, whether you do it in pictures, you are helping them to envision what it's like to have your product. Creating vision is very important. This is something that the great Ben Settle, he teaches, that you must create vision every time somebody comes to your site, every time somebody sees their sales message, every time somebody reads an email, you are trying to create vision. You want to make it easier, of course, to make it easy for people to come to your site and make a purchase. That's navigation. And basically, you're doing everything you can to make sure that everybody that comes to that site, they're getting a good message. They're getting the opportunity to make a purchase from you. And of course, we're trying to put these people, if we can, if they're not ready to buy right then, we want to put them in some kind of contact database. We want to make sure that we're building our email marketing list. Now, if increasing the conversion rate is basically executing better sales methods at the point of contact, then what we want to do is we want to try our best to increase the average dollar amount per sale. And we want to get better and better and better at upselling. We've already got the customer. That's the best customer to sell. And so if we can get good at making sure that that customer is going to buy more, or that we've made sure that we've done a good job of putting the relevant things around them, then we are going to see more profit. We're going to grow our business. You probably experienced this anytime you go to a fast food restaurant. If the person is there, they're going to be asking you if they can add on to your purchase. You're also going to see this when you go to a big box retailer. If you still go in person, if you go and you buy something, you buy some kind of electronic, it always happens that they're going to bring something up on the register that basically sells something to you that says, hey, do you want to add on this warranty? And could be something nominal. What they're doing, of course, is they're basically upselling you. They're trying to make sure that there's going to be more profit at every transaction. You've got to do the same thing. Every time you get the opportunity to make more profit at a sale, you got to try to do that. Of course, you've got to make sure that that other purchase is going to be relevant to the person that's making the purchase. And all of these things are going to be important because they don't cost you anything. Right? You haven't spent any money on advertising. You haven't spent any money on Facebook ads. In order to be a good upseller, none of that costs you a dime. And so you've got to make sure that you're maximizing those things before you go out and you start spending advertising. To go out and spend money on advertising, you've not made sure that your sales funnel is working so that every customer that does come through, that you're maximizing the income, that's going to be a waste of your advertising dollars. And typically what you want to do is you want to make sure that funnel is working. You want to make sure that funnel is converting before you spend any money on any kind of advertising. I want to go a little deeper into information marketing here. And so these are always going to be vital principles for increasing your profitability as an information marketer. A lot of your traffic as an information marketer is going to come from affiliates. If you're just getting started marketing as an marketing information, you will develop affiliate relationships because affiliates like to make sure that they're profiting all the time and they're looking for opportunities in order to send email to their subscriber list, and so that they don't have to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're ready then to find things that are going to be relevant for their audience, and if you've got it, you can help them to earn more revenue. They can help you by giving you new customers, and then you will actually earn and grow your business. Now, if you do this, whenever you start thinking about affiliate marketing, you have to incentivize affiliates to promote for you a second or third time. Typically, if an affiliate decides you're going to promote for you, they're going to promote for you one time. It's probably not going to do the job for you that you really want to do. And so what you've got to do without having to go beg them, without having to go ask them, you want to make sure they are incentivized to promote for you a second and third time. Well, how do you do that? You do that by making sure that every time that they send an email, every time that they get a sale, that you're actually increasing their profitability by making sure that your sales funnel converts for them when a customer comes through there. Listen, veteran affiliates, they're always going to have more opportunity than they do days they can send out emails. So I need to, these notifications. Sorry about that. That's not going to be in the recording. Okay, so veteran affiliates always have more opportunities that they're going to have days in order to send offers. They're going to be flush with opportunities. They're always going to be people that are approaching them in order to send a new offer to their subscriber list. So you need to have something that will keep their attention. And so befriending them is not necessarily going to work in the long run. Yeah, I mean, you'll get relationships and you'll build relationships, you'll build good friends. It's not necessarily going to mean that you're going to send email for you and they're going to promote you to their subscriber list. What you have got to do in order to keep their attention is make sure that you are profiting them every time they send an email on your behalf. Why? Because anytime an affiliate sends an email, they lose subscribers, they lose a little credibility. And so you've got to make sure that you compensate them by having a product that converts for them every time they make a sale. Now, anytime you are going to be an information marketer, you have to understand it doesn't take a lot to in terms of cost in order to create something. Basically, a lot of the work is coming out of your brain. A lot of the work is digital, so it doesn't necessarily cost you a lot as if you were taking inventory and creating some kind of physical product. What that means then in terms of affiliates is you can afford to give the affiliate a high percentage with your base product. So whatever you're selling on the front end, when you got a good sales funnel, you can afford to give that affiliate sometimes 100%. I've seen some marketers go as far as to give people 125% for their base product. And again, you've got to really know your numbers in order to do that. I'm not recommending you do that. I'm just saying that you can afford to give that affiliate a little more in the front end because you're going to make your money on the funnel. And so understanding that that funnel is converting, understanding that you've created a good offer, understanding that you have created something on the back end that's going to ensure that this is going to be profitable, even if you give 100% to that affiliate, that's what your job is going to be. And so you have got to get really good at converting back end offers if you're going to be profitable, if you're going to grow your business. And that's where your profit is going to really come from. And so your base offer, right, has got to entice people to come in. So in other words, you've got to make sure that base offer, when the affiliate sends you traffic, that converts, right? That's important. But your job, though, is not just getting that customer. Your job, listen, you don't want to rely on just email. So in other words, yes, you have a good customer. In some cases, you've added that customer to your email marketing list when they make a purchase. That's great. But you make your profit by making sure that when that customer makes a purchase, they're going to see other things that are going to be relevant to them that they will then want to buy, and you're going to structure it so that that's where you're going to make your profit. Let's talk about some sales funnel science. Now, if you're going to grow your profits, you've got to spend your efforts in two directions. You got to get new customers and you got to get your existing customers to buy more. That's just what we just talked about. And so if you're going to maximize profits with your new customers, right, you need to be able to use what are called vertical funnels. And again, remember, vertical funnels, it's not a formal term. It's just what we're using just for this session. Now, when you do this, you can do this with your existing customers, but if a customer has already proven to you by making a purchase, right, you also want to offer them some kind of horizontal funnel where they can buy something else that's going to be like it. You want to use together vertical and horizontal funnels to maximize your profits. And we're going to get into that, as we go here. Anytime there's going to be a series of purchases that a customer makes, you are going to be doing this in what is called a funnel. So in other words, customers already made one purchase, but you're taking them through a series of other offers so they can see things that are going to be relevant to what it is they want, what it is they've proven to buy, what it is that they might like to buy. When you take them through that series and you're doing it systematically, that is what's called your funnel. And so the idea behind a funnel is that it's going to be wide at the top. In other words, you're going to get a lot of people to buy your first offer, right? That's where the biggest number of people are going to make the purchase because that's where you're going to spend the least amount of money. It's always going to get narrower as it goes down to the end of the funnel. So again, you're not going to get 100% of your buyers to take you up on an upsell. So that's why it's a funnel, wide at the top, narrower as you get toward the bottom. And so basically, this mirrors the upsell cross-sell process. In other words, typically at the top of the funnel, you're going to have lower dollar amounts and price points. That's where you're going to find the most of the people. As you start to move people down, You're going to find then that there are going to be fewer people, but you're also going to find then that that's where your more profitable offers are going to be if you're structuring your funnel correctly. Again, there are people who are opposed to building funnels, and I understand that. However, when you have a customer, if that customer is going to end up buying something from you, all you're doing is you're saying to the customer, you can accelerate the process by buying it here and buying it with me now. Let's talk about vertical funnels. A funnel is typically going to be vertical, and this is where all the rising price points are going to happen at the point of sale. So in other words, a customer comes and buys paper, and basically you're going to show them offers for pens and erasers as related purchase. So in other words, you can get the paper. I can also sell you pens and erasers to go with it. And so we're always increasing them to increase their satisfaction with the initial purchase. That's the idea. We are saying, if you want to really enjoy this, here's something else that will help you to do that. We could also show them purchases at a higher dollar amount if we want to, right? We could say, hey, you've got this kind of paper, but this kind of paper is really better. Let's give you this sheet of this kind of paper, which is going to be higher quality. It's going to be heavier stock. And instead of giving you this lower quality, we'll get you to buy something that's of higher quality. We'll just exchange the two. Sometimes we can do that also. And again, all you're really doing at this point is you're saying to the customer, you can have more enjoyment if you spend a little more with me right here and right now. Here's the point. The point is you're increasing the dollar amount of the transaction while the customer is still close to the transaction they just made, right? Whether you increase or you upgrade them, each transaction or upsell is going to be stacked right on top of the other, so it's vertical. Right? So that's why we call it a vertical funnel functionally. Again, if you go and you try to Google this term, it's not going to be findable. What we're talking about is something functional. The transactions are stacked one on top of the other. Let's talk about developmental funnels, because you are going to be able to help people to develop typically when you're using information marketing. So in other words, these purchases are going to occur over time. You're trying to get your customer, and if you're doing a good job as an information marketer, all you're really doing is helping the customer to outgrow what they purchased from you the first time, right? That's developmental. So in other words, you are in the process of developing them. Maybe that product is helping them to grow in an area, and eventually that product is going to lead them to want more from you. And so you've always got to be thinking, how can I help this person develop? How can I help this person to grow? And if they grow, what else can I offer them? If a person does all that I told them to do inside the information product, if they do everything, they're going to be a different person. What can I offer that different person? You should have something there for that different person. Now, of course, it assumes that you are already delivering on what you promised in the base product. Of course, so don't not do that. But basically, all you're really looking to do is you're looking to look at your customer and trying to move them up in their life. And as you move them up in their life, you're upgrading them to a new level where they're going to need to make another purchase from you. And what this does, if you're effective, if you're good, you are marrying customers to your brand. And so this is a very important way of growing your business, because you are not only telling them, hey, you can buy all these things at the point of sale. You're not only telling them you can buy all of these other things that are off to the left and to the right. You're saying to them, hey, if you stick with me, I'm going to help you to grow, and I've got things that'll help you to grow with me. Now, let's talk about horizontal funnels, because it assumes then that you understand the needs of your customer, right? You understand their needs change, you understand what their needs are today, and you're keeping track of those things, and you're basically making other products that will be helpful to them as they grow, as things change for them over time. So basically, we're talking about things that are level and things that are not necessarily helping them to grow, but things that help them if things change, right? So basically, all we're really saying is we're not going to spend additional advertising dollars until we maximize what it is we're doing with our present base of customers. Everything they spend over time, right, is going to be profit less any operational expenses, obviously. So what we're trying to do is at every transaction, we're looking to maximize the dollar amount they spend and maximize our profit. I do want to talk about the basic information marketing funnel. Now, again, you're going to change this, you're going to vary this, but this is the basic. These are the classic ideas that you want to consider when you start talking about building an information marketing funnel. They're typically going to be vertical, right? Now, again, you probably do have developmental funnels, you probably do have other things, but we're typically talking about a vertical transaction, just so you'll know. So we're talking about the transactions that are stacked on top of one another. They're all happening on the same day at the same time. So this is what we're talking about in information marketing. So so again, we're not in this case talking about horizontal or developmental. As an information marketer, what you're basically doing is you're trying to help people to solve something, and you're doing it in information, right? Some kind of specialized knowledge. And that's always going to be your base product. Some people call that the front end product. It's an introduction to your funnel. So it's probably going to be a lower dollar amount. So in other words, somebody makes that purchase and they come inside of your marketing funnel. And so you're introducing them then to your world. And that first offer is going to be something that's going to help them, but what you want to do is you want to stack something right on top of there, right? What's that next offer going to be? That next offer, the first upsell is going to be something that's going to help them to enjoy what they just bought, right? How can you help them to enjoy and get more out of that first purchase? Now, what you don't want to do is to cross any lines where basically you've rendered the first product so that it's not quite complete. That's not what you want to do. You don't want people walking away thinking, well, man, why not just why not just put it all in the first product? That's not the idea. So whatever you do, you don't want to communicate with that upsell that their purchase is not complete. That first purchase they made should be complete. It should do everything that you sold to them. It should do everything you promised them. It should do all of the things that you said that it would do. It should stand on its own. So the base product should stand on its own so that that upsell, the first upsell basically says, hey, if you bought this, I'm going to show you how to do better with it. I'm going to show you how to get more enjoyment from it. I'm going to show you how to develop with it. Now let's talk about the second upsell. What you're basically going to do is you're basically going to say, hey, do you want to move faster? Then we're going to give you some templates of some kind. Basically, you're going to take part of the process they're learning, you're going to do some of it for them. And you're going to give that to them so they can do it faster. That's basically the idea in the second upsell. And this is a totally distinct offer from that first upsell. That first upsell is basically, it's basically should be a no-brainer, right? It should be so that, hey, I really, I bought this one thing, and here's what I really want to do. And when they see that first upsell, it ought to be a no-brainer. The second upsell is where you're going to do some of the process for them, right? You're going to give them something that will help them to move faster. You're then going to have a third upsell. Now, this might be, or you might start to feel uncomfortable with this. You might feel like, well, I don't want to have a third upsell. I don't even want to have a second upsell. But if you have a third upsell, this is where you're going to help them to keep their results. But you can stick a bundle, right? So in other words, you give them more of the same, right? Because the last upsell is going to be where you're going to give them some kind of continuity offer. This is where you're going to show them, hey, you know what? If you want to keep your results, here's how you do it. You pay me monthly, or you pay me on a higher ticket product. Basically, what you're doing is you're saying to them, hey, you've already spent a little bit of money with me. Maybe you got the second or third upsell, but basically now, if you want to keep the results you're getting, here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to spend time with you, or I'm going to give you more of my business resources, and this is going to really help you to keep the results you have. That's what you're doing. So again, let's kind of talk through this. The first upsell, right? The first upsell is basically going to be the no-brainer. How can you help them to enjoy it? The second upsell are going to be templates, right? And we're talking about conceptually, right? I mean, obviously, you might vary this in some ways. The third upsell, you can either give them the continuity, or sometimes you can do in the third upsell, you give people a bundle. The last upsell, if you do a third upsell, the last one is always going to be giving people the opportunity to get more of your personal time or more of your business resources, right? And they're going to have to pay for that. And so either you're going to give them a higher ticket offer, or you're going to give them the opportunity to spend money with you monthly. However you do it, you can combine the two. Business assets and continuity offer, that's typically going to be the best way to think about those things. But you want to have these elements in your funnel as an information marketer. Again, I understand people object to these. I understand that people are looking at these and they're saying, well, people don't really want to go through those things. But here's what you want to think about. If you are going to grow your business, and if you're really going to serve people, you cannot serve people just with the front end product. If you can serve people by helping them to enjoy it more, you want to do that. That's your first upsell. If you can help you serve them by helping them to go faster, giving them some of the templates, you want to do that. If you can give them more of what they got in the first ups in the base product, if you can give them more of that and you can serve them by doing that, you want to do that. If you want to be the kind of person that will help them to keep their results, you want to be able to do that, but you've got to make sure that you charge them according to them getting a little bit more of you monthly, right? So now let's talk about the educational marketing funnel. Now, you should always be doing educational marketing as an information marketer. That's what we sell. We sell people on how they can improve their lives. We sell people on how they can improve their business. And so one of the things that you need to do, you need to be training on a regular basis. And this is just there's no argument, there's no disputing about this. You need to train your customers, you need to train your prospects. If you need to do them all in the same way, do that way. But basically, you need to be offering some kind of training on a weekly basis. And if you want to, you can do it a little bit at a time on daily. So in other words, you don't want to do a weekly training and say you're not necessarily comfortable with that. You can do a 5 or 10-minute video or something on a daily basis. That's about the same as if you were going to do some kind of weekly training. It really doesn't matter as long as you're going to be consistent and you're going to be exposing people and teaching them to new principles and teaching people how to be a good customer by showing them the products and services you have that will help them. You got to do that on a regular basis. That's your funnel. Now, it's not necessarily called a funnel, but it is a funnel because what you're doing is you're bringing people onto a place where you're going to help them. And every time you do that, you're going to show them something new that'll help them. The only way this works is you got to be consistent. If you decide to do daily videos, then do them. Do them every day. If you're going to do a weekly session, do it every week. Same time, same place every week. This is the way that you're going to monetize your existing customers. And so you also need to make sure that you stay top of mind, that you're providing value for them even after their purchase. Now, I will say this as an information marketer, it's important to say this. This is not blogging or podcasting or doing a video channel. This is in addition to that. So, you can obviously put all your training on your video channel. That's fine. You can put all your training on your blog. That's fine. You can repurpose it into a podcast. That's fine. But you must train on a weekly basis. You've got to show people how to be good customers. How do they be good customers? They make the most of what you've given them. How do they make the most of what you've given them? They take the steps that you tell them. And then when they do that, they're going to need more from you, right? That's the way you approach that. Contact database, your email marketing list is a funnel, right? You may not look at it that way, but it is. You need to look at your contact database as a funnel of its own. And that's another place where you're going to get more of your customers to take more steps with you, but you've got to make sure that you ask for the sale. You may wonder why we say this is going to be a funnel. And I need to say this parenthetically. Please do not try to preserve your list for a rainy day. So in other words, some people feel as if, well, I don't want to mail my list because they'll be upset. I want to make sure they're going to be there for me. I want to make sure they're going to be there for a future time. That's not going to help you. That's not going to help you to grow your business. And basically, that's not even going to help you to get new customers. All you're really doing by keeping those people on a list where they're not benefiting and you're not benefiting, you are creating inertia in their lives. You're making them think that they're not going to have to do anything in order to improve their lives. And that's not the way that you want to operate. You've got to look for ways to help them, right? You've got to be thinking about the people who land on your subscriber list, even if they're not your customers. You should be thinking every single day, how can I help these people accomplish their goals? How can I help these people get to where they want to go? That's going to be your mindset. When you sit down to contact your contact database, how can you help them? How can you help them to get from point A to point B? And as an information marketer, you are always creating things that'll help them. Now, I'm not saying you always got to sell to them, but you're always creating things that'll really help them. So don't just get anything. Don't just go and get something that you think is going to placate them or it's going to make them or keep their attention. That's not the idea. The idea with the contact database, if you're going to turn it into a funnel of people who are going to spend money with you, is that you are thinking every single day about how you can help them to accomplish the goals for which they joined your list in the first place. And of course, it goes without saying, and I say this, and I know this makes people uncomfortable. You have to be talking to these people on a daily basis. And trust me, people are going to forget about you. And even if you run somebody off of your subscriber list and they get tired of you, then that's just going to be the way it is. Because if you are openly, if your goal is to make sure you're helping people, you need to have something worth talking about in those emails every single day. And so basically, that has to be the root of your relationship. It's a business relationship. It's not a relationship where you all just get to know each other and you just like each other and you're going to have lunch together and they think you're a great guy, you think they're a great person. Then that's not the idea. The idea is to build a business relationship. That's what you need to have. If you don't have a business relationship, you're not going to you're not going to live to fight another day. You're not going to be able to help them in the long term because you're not going to be generating the kind of cash flow that you're going to have to sustain you so that you can help them. Your job is to grow your business. And so you want to use funnels to effectively grow your business so that you can build a business relationship with people over time and so they can get the benefit of what it is that you have to offer. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Well, okay, everybody. Well, as I said, this is going to take me about 48 to 72 hours to get this edited, and I will get it uploaded to the course area. As soon as I can get it up there for you to watch, if you want to watch the replay, I will put the raw file up there. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care. Oh, one question. Okay, so I won't end. Well, okay, so Boyd's asking um, what you should use for your learning center, and um, let me let me ask you a question. Let me answer your question by asking you a question. Uh, what what do you have? What do you own? Okay, so let me see. You own you own Go High Level. You own Groove. You own Teaching Wise and Thrivecart Learn. Okay, so you have all these. Now, when you start talking about a learning center, what you have to think about is ease. So in other words, what's easy for me is not going to be easy for you. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this kind of off the record, and this part I'm not going to put in the recording because I need to talk about PLR for a second. Now, I use Teachable because of what it does for me as a PLR creator. Um, I would not recommend Teachable to everybody, right? And if a person does not necessarily deliver a lot of video, and they don't need to have video and downloads, then I'm going to say that you don't have to have something like Teachable because in some ways it's more clunky than some of the other things. That being said, I would say that you want to have something that's easy to upload the videos and easy for the customer to get their login and password. That's so whatever it is going to be easy for you to create products to put it on the network, because just between us, I I found I found Groove to be um, I found Groove to be complicated. Um, I did that's just um, and it does a lot of stuff. It does a great job at things. But in terms of explaining it, I told someone, and I know and I know people want me and again, I mean, I think it's an awesome program. I found it personally to be difficult. And so so if I were to have to do what I'm doing with Groove, I don't know if I would last. And the last thing I found the same thing with ClickFunnels. I've just found it too complicated in order for me to use. Right, yeah. So really, the reason I use Teachable is because of the streaming videos and the downloads. So that's really it. So I want people to have one experience where they can have streaming video. I could do that in three different places, but I don't want to do that. And and so really that's really the crux of it. And in the in 2023, there's some certifications I want to do, and I want to be able to deliver some certificates. So that's always been at the back of my mind. But again, that's really specific, right? And so you've got to really be thinking about like who your customer is going to be, because my customer is a PLR creator, is a PLR user. I had to think about that because I wanted to use Searchy, but Searchy doesn't really have downloads. Searchy really doesn't have the login and password that I wanted. And then, and so, yeah, yeah, I like Searchy. It's a little off center in terms of what I want to do. Right? Okay, yeah, no, that's good. That's good, boy. I look forward to that. Right? Look forward yeah, so Boyd's saying Searchy is good for clients. Yeah, I think it is. Right? And I have a use for it. It just takes a lot of it's going to take a lot of work to get it there. But I still like Teachable for the fact that it has a streaming video in one place. It has the mobile application. Searchy doesn't have a mobile application yet, and so people can watch the courses offline, right? So that was another thing. So yeah, so you really just kind of think about what you want your customer to have, and then what you want to deliver. Yep. Okay. No, great. That's great. Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for hanging out with me here. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.